Bitcoin against the business cycle is telling us a very interesting signal right now. You can see that Bitcoin has been moving up this cycle. However, the business cycle has not been doing as well. It's just been consolidating at the lows. And historically, every time we've been seeing these consolidation at the lows, it's shortly followed by expansion. And when we get the expansion, we see a massive move towards the upside for Bitcoin. So is the history going to actually change? Are we going to be seeing something different coming up? Since, of course, we have the yearly close coming in about 5 days from now. But of course, every single midterm year is typically bearish for Bitcoin. But if this chart starts to tick towards the upside and we start to see PMI actually rise, it's likely we're going to be seeing Bitcoin continue to move towards the upside. And this may actually mean that we're going to be entering a super cycle. So in this video, I'm going to be covering all the relevant data pieces and all the relevant charts to be seeing what's likely to be happening for that Bitcoin price. We're also going to be looking at Ethereum, and we're going to be seeing what's going to be likely to be happening over here. So make sure to be watching to the end. And with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go straight away into this banger. Bow. So looking at this chart, we can see that the business cycle, which is the PMI indicator that's actually here, which shows us how the economy is doing, is essentially consolidating at lows right now. And of course, every time that we've been at these lows, we've seen downturns in the Bitcoin price. But every time that the PMI indicator has been expanding, indicating that the economy is doing quite well, we've seen major expansion for Bitcoin. And right now the PMI indicator is literally consolidating at the lows, and it looks like it's ready to start to actually tick towards the upside, especially since we recently seen positive GDP numbers. And of course, these are signals indicating that the economy can start to do well, and this may mean that Bitcoin can move towards the upside. And this is going to be breaking the 4-year cycles theory, because of course we can see that every midterm year, shown by the red candles over here, they always are double-digit red gains towards the downside. And of course, right now, it looks like we're actually about to close a candle in the red, even though it's a post-halving year. So looking at the chart more closely, you can see most of the post-halving years, so you can see 2013, 2017, and of course 2021 have been massively bullish, but 2025 this time around looks like it's about to close in the red. So this will actually break the 4-year cycle theory, and it's likely that we can get a positive candle in the midterm year instead of a negative one. But of course, the probability of this actually playing out, I still think is quite low, and I'll go into detail about that in just a minute. But of course, I do think that this is one thing that we need to be paying attention to. But one thing that may actually play out is the fact that the next candle that's going to be forming in the midterm year may not be as red as previously. So of course, we can look at history and we can see that the midterm years are massively red. You can see we have sometimes negative 70% towards the downside, negative 60%, negative 64% over there. So of course, it's looking likely that this midterm year is going to be in the red. But maybe if we close the candle for the post-halving year in the red already, then the midterm year is not going to be as red. It may actually just come in towards maybe the 50k zone or something, and then we can actually see an uptick in the candle, and we may get another small red candle before we actually resume the Bitcoin bull market again. But of course, if we see this PMI indicator continue to consolidate at the lows in towards 2026, then it's likely that we're going to be seeing the Bitcoin price actually move towards the downside. And once this starts to tick towards the upside again, that's where we're going to be bottoming, and that's where we're going to be ticking towards the upside also. Now, looking at that medium-term price action for Bitcoin, we're in a market maker sell model already, and it's likely we're going to be moving towards the downside after we form this range that we're actually forming right now. But it's the question that, are we going to be grabbing the lows first? Then are we going to be moving in towards key moving averages before actually moving towards the downside? We need to be exploring that potential scenario. But of course, I do think in general we're going to be forming a range here where we may actually go down as low as 74k, and we may actually pump in and around the 100k level before we actually move towards the downside in towards the next range of the market maker sell model. But on that 3-day time frame, we have a bullish divergence, and it's likely that we are going to be moving towards the upside eventually. But of course, it is still possible that in towards the yearly close, we can get a lot of volatility, and we may actually start to grab the lows before we actually move towards the upside. Now, as for the upside target, it still remains a 50-week moving average, which is in and around the 100k level, like I've been highlighting on the channel. So I do think that this is the level, since every single bull market we've actually retested the 50-week moving average before we actually move towards the downside. So this time I don't think it's going to be different, and this is going to be my target before we actually move in towards a bear market. But you can see on that imminent short term, we're actually reaching the apex of this consolidation pattern, and it is possible that we are going to be seeing a breakout. But as of now, we're in a weekend, so it's likely we continue to see sideways price action. And then at the start of the new week, we're either going to be breaking towards a downside, which is more likely since we are in a downtrend. But of course, it's possible that we can also break towards the upside and start to reverse the trend, since of course, since the top in and around the October 10th mark, when we got that massive liquidation week, we've actually just been moving towards a downside. So of course, after 2 to 3 months of downside, it's likely that we're going to be seeing at least a month or two of upside. So it is possible that we can be forming a bottom here, and we are going to be moving towards the upside. But again, be careful in case we actually grab the lows, which is the final dump, before we actually move towards the upside and we create some sort of a divergence there with the RSI. I do think that will be an opportunity to be actually taking a long position, and then we're going to be targeting the 100k level. We can also look into towards this chart, which shows Bitcoin's price action after Christmas Day, and of course it's typically bullish, but in the short term we may see some downside, as you can see. So the next few days after Christmas typically has been towards the downside, but the majority of the move in towards the start of Q1 has been up for the past 2 years. So I do think that this time is going to be the same as well, especially since we've actually seen major downside already. So we can look in towards this range over here, and you can see that if we continue to hold price below the mid-range, it is possible that the move is going to be towards the downside. And if we grab the lows and reclaim the range again, I do think that that's going to be an opportunity to be taking a long position. So if you're watching the video and you want to be trading for yourself, make sure to be clicking that first link down below for LBank. LBank's offering the community a massive deposit bonus of 50%, so I will make sure to be claiming this. And of course, once you do your KYC and you do some trading tasks, you can be earning up to $210 over there as well. So make sure to be checking this first link down below for LBank if you want to be claiming that amazing deposit bonus of 50%, and of course that amazing bonuses of USDT after you complete some trading tasks. Also, if you want to be joining my free community, make sure to be checking that second link down below, since I'm posting market alpha, breaking news, and of course, you know, up and coming trades as well. So make sure to be clicking that second link down below for that if you want to be getting some good alpha and some nice trading opportunities. Now, of course, to determine the next price for Bitcoin, we can also look at the USDT dominance. That's looking like it's repeating history. So of course, if we start to see the USDT dominance actually break this resistance level, then I do think we are going to be moving towards the downside extensively some more. And we are seeing the stochastic RSI actually spending a lot of time at the overbought level. So it is possible that we are going to be seeing USDT dominance actually grind towards the upside. And of course, this is going to mean we're going to be seeing a dump in the market, as money is going to be flowing into stable coins and out of Bitcoin. Now, if USDT dominance actually confirms above resistance and we continue to see the USDT dominance actually increase, then it's likely we're repeating the bear cycle of 2021, where we're going to be entering a bear market. And we do have some signals actually telling us that we're already going to be heading in towards a bear market, since we have the super trend indicator actually bearish. And of course, we also do have the midterm years coming up. We're actually met our cycle top already if you look at the timing. So it's likely that we've already topped out for Bitcoin. We've lost the 50-week moving average, and the next target is going to be the 200-week moving average, situated around the 56k level, and the 300-week moving average around the 48k level. Now, as for Ethereum, we have liquidity on both sides also, with the majority being above. However, of course, it's weak price action. We've been seeing lower lows and lower highs throughout this whole trend. So it is possible that we can be moving towards a downside also if Bitcoin decides to break towards a downside. But you can see, if you look very carefully, we're creating that symmetrical triangle in this consolidation pattern also. So it is possible that we can be breaking towards a downside, or we can be breaking towards the upside, depending on which way we break out first. But of course, we have been seeing that Ethereum has not been able to break above the 50-week moving average, which is the white line over here. So of course, it is likely we are going to be moving towards the downside and continue momentum down. And of course, the next target, if we do see a big move for Ethereum towards the downside, will be this support demand level in and around that 2,500 mark, all the way down to 2,200. So of course, this is going to be the level that you want to be watching for Ethereum, and then that's where we may get a bounce in towards the bull market support band, which is going to be the top target for Ethereum in my opinion, before we move into the bear market. So of course, all eyes on the yearly close. We need to be seeing how this candle is going to be closing. Of course, the bulls are likely to actually put up a fight and try to break above the yearly open, but of course, I don't think it's going to be likely we're going to be breaking above it, since we have a steep downtrend already in play. So of course, if we close anything like this, we can be questioning what's going to be happening for the next cycle in the next year. Are we going to be entering a bullish business cycle this is going to be the questions that's going to be coming up. And of course, we need to be monitoring this chart over here to be seen if this starts to break towards the upside. Then it is possible that Bitcoin can actually break towards the upside also, and we break the 4-year cycle. But of course, if this consolidates towards the downside in towards 2026, I do think that of course history is going to be playing out, and we are going to be seeing another bear market and another bearish midterm year, since of course we have a lot of indicators actually indicating to us that of course we're going to be seeing this massive move towards the downside. So that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on X to be staying up to date with all my updates, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye bye.